through it, and here we go, round number 2, scheduled for 12 for Canelo's 3-belt.
Recently shared his thoughts on a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, warning Canelo to be cautious. According to Crawford's camp, a deal is in place for him to face the reigning 3-division world champion Canelo Alvarez on September 13. Rogan discussed the matchup in a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience while speaking with stand-up comedian Brian Simpson. During their conversation, Rogan couldn't help but praise Crawford for his incredible skills in the ring. Rogan also addressed some of the controversy surrounding Crawford's 2023 victory over Errol Spence Jr. after Crawford dominated Spence. There was speculation that Spence's defense was compromised due to the lasting effects of a serious car accident he had suffered years earlier. Rogan disagreed with that theory, suggesting that Crawford's brilliance as a fighter would have led to the same result, regardless of Spence's past injury. He argued that Crawford was simply too skilled and would have beaten
Don't sit in the corner. No, don't be stationary.
Spence even 3 years ago. Rogan described Crawford as an exceptional fighter, highlighting his ability to switch seamlessly between southpaw and orthodox stances without losing effectiveness. He emphasized that Crawford's skill set, which includes a deep understanding of boxing and the ability to anticipate his opponent's moves, made him stand out in the sport. Rogan is clearly a big fan of Crawford's talent, and his excitement for the upcoming showdown with Canelo shows his confidence in Crawford's abilities. However, not everyone shares the same view. While Rogan is all in on Crawford, some are skeptical about how the American champ will fare against Canelo, the Mexican boxing icon.
Just inches, a game of inches.
Mexican-American boxer David Benavidez didn't hold back when talking about the possible showdown between super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez and American world champion Terence Crawford. In an interview with TNT Sports, Benavidez discussed both fighters' chances, recognizing that they both dominate their own divisions. He also made it clear that this fight has all the ingredients to be one of the most exciting matchups in recent years. Benavidez said, "To be honest with you, Crawford is one of the best technical fighters I've ever seen." He added that when Crawford moved up to 154 pounds, he didn't seem to have the same power he showed at 147 pounds, even though he still managed to perform well. Benavidez acknowledged that Crawford would have to move up 2 or 3 more weight classes to face Canelo. However, he believes Canelo holds the advantage, considering the natural advantages Canelo has at 168 pounds. While Benavidez respects Crawford's unique skills, he believes that weight classes should be respected, and he would give Canelo the edge in this matchup. On the other hand, Joe Rogan is hopeful that Crawford can get into good enough shape to face Canelo. On the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Rogan expressed concern about whether Crawford would be big enough to handle Canelo, particularly since Canelo is known for his powerful punches. Rogan emphasized how tough it would be to go up against a fighter with such knockout power. As fans eagerly await a potential September fight between Crawford and Canelo in Las Vegas, the boxing world is buzzing. This fight has the perfect mix of styles, strategic brilliance and the challenge of moving up weight classes. As the excitement builds, opinions on who has the upper hand are still divided. Adding more fuel to the fire, Jose Benavidez, the older brother of WBC interim light heavyweight champion David Benavidez, also weighed in on the upcoming fight. Jose knows firsthand how dangerous Terence Crawford is, having suffered a brutal knockout loss to him in 2018 when they fought for the WBO welterweight title. With this experience, Jose understands exactly what Crawford brings to the ring. But Jose's view on this super fight isn't just shaped by experience, it's also personal. His younger brother, David, never got the chance to face Canelo, a missed opportunity that disappointed him. Now, with a potential Canelo versus Crawford bout on the horizon, Jose has already made his choice. At a press conference for a fight between David Morrell and David Benavidez, Jose confidently stated, "Crawford's a beast. He's smart. He knows what he's doing." He acknowledged that Canelo is the naturally bigger fighter but pointed out that a fight's outcome isn't always about size. Canelo's not that big of a guy. He weighs more, but you can't take anything from Crawford. He goes in there and wins, Jose said. He also expressed regret that his younger brother didn't get the chance to face Canelo, adding, "It sucks that my brother didn't get that opportunity." Only Canelo
Already, the bigger man.
I mean, Berlanga's not fighting scared.
knows why that didn't happen. At the time, David Benavidez was Canelo Alvarez's mandatory challenger for the super middleweight title. However, negotiations broke down when Canelo allegedly asked for an unreasonable amount of money, leaving the fight unmade. David Benavidez then decided to move up in weight, eventually securing a win over Alexander Gvozdyk to claim the interim light heavyweight title. Jose continued to praise Crawford's intelligence in the ring, saying, "Crawford's just smart. He can switch between southpaw and orthodox stances effortlessly, and that makes him unpredictable and dangerous." He also mentioned that many of Canelo's previous opponents seemed mentally defeated before stepping into the ring, but he believes Crawford will come with a different mentality. Crawford is going in there to win, not to lose, Jose predicted. Not everyone agrees with Jose's take on Crawford's skills. Mexican boxing legend Julio Cesar Chavez has publicly backed Canelo, predicting a knockout within 6 or 7 rounds. Although Chavez respects Crawford's talent, he believes the 13-pound weight difference between the two fighters will be too much for Crawford to overcome. "There are weight classes for a reason," Chavez stated, adding, "Crawford is a good fighter, but the weight difference will be a major factor." However, YouTube star Jake Paul is among those who back Crawford. Despite the weight difference, Paul thinks Crawford's skill and freshness will give him an edge. "If I had to put my money on it, I'd probably go with Terence," Paul said. Alexander Usyk, the unbeaten heavyweight champion, also praised Crawford and expressed his belief that Crawford can pull off a win. "Terence is different. He works on both sides, right and left, and he's very smart," Usyk said. Even though Crawford is at a disadvantage in terms of weight, Usyk believes Crawford's intelligence in the ring will make the difference. As discussions continue, the boxing world remains divided on the outcome of this potential super fight. Jaron Ennis, the current top welterweight and IBF champion, admitted he's torn. While he's not fully backing Canelo, he doesn't see Crawford as a guaranteed winner either. "It's a 50-50 fight," Ennis said. Though Ennis once considered facing Crawford, his focus has now shifted as their paths are unlikely to cross. At 37, Crawford's career is nearing its end, and Ennis understands the pressure that comes with being in the final stages of a career. Crawford's most recent fight was a narrow unanimous decision victory over Israel Madrimov in his debut at 154 pounds, which earned him the top spot in the junior middleweight division. Canelo, meanwhile, successfully defended his super middleweight title twice. Ennis believes that Crawford's smaller frame could present challenges against Canelo, particularly in terms of speed and endurance. "He might be a little slower," Ennis said, acknowledging that the extra 14 pounds could affect Crawford's trademark speed. Veteran promoter Bob Arum has also joined the growing debate. Initially, Arum brushed off Crawford's challenge, believing Canelo would easily win. Arum admired Crawford but argued that Canelo's power would be too much for Crawford to handle. "Canelo is used to fighting at a higher level. I don't see Crawford being able to do much to him," Arum stated. Despite this, Arum acknowledged that a Canelo-Crawford fight is intriguing, even if he's confident Canelo would come out on top.
I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford. I told you when Crawford and Spence that Crawford would beat the hell out of him. But Canelo is a different proposition. It's an interesting fight, but I think there's only one winner. Canelo is used to fighting at a particular level, and and I don't think that Terence can hurt Canelo, but Canelo can hurt Terence.
Recently, Bob Arum spoke to Fight Hype about the upcoming Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford showdown. Despite Crawford needing to add 14 pounds for the fight, Arum isn't ready to count him out. He admitted that Crawford has a unique talent and is an exceptional boxer. "Crawford is a great boxer-puncher and is completely ambidextrous," Arum said. "This makes him a tough opponent because most fighters train to face a right-handed opponent, but Crawford switches seamlessly between right-handed and southpaw stances, which can confuse his opponents." Arum pointed out that this is exactly what happened when Crawford fought Errol Spence. Spence trained to face a right-handed fighter, only to find himself fighting a southpaw instead. However, Arum believes that Crawford's weight disadvantage will be a major factor when he faces Canelo, who is naturally bigger and stronger. Eddie Hearn, a prominent British promoter, also weighed in on the fight, referencing Crawford's bout with 154-pounder Israil Madrimov. Hearn noted that Crawford had a tough time in that fight, and he believes the same size issues will be even more apparent when Crawford faces Canelo.
Canelo landed 14 of 28 in the second round, 7 of 4.
I think he struggled against Madrimov, who is a strong 154-pounder, and he'll really feel it against Canelo, Hearn said. Despite his doubts about Crawford's ability to overcome the weight difference, Hearn acknowledged that Crawford's agility, boxing IQ, and brilliance could cause serious problems for Canelo in the ring. His movement, his ring IQ, his brilliance, they could make things tough for Canelo, Hearn admitted. While the fight is expected to be a challenging one for Crawford, with the size difference between the two fighters being hard to ignore, the buzz continues to grow. Crawford, a two-time undisputed champion, will be stepping into the ring against Canelo, who is the unified super middleweight champion. It's a big leap, as Crawford has only fought once above the welterweight class. Still, it would be a mistake to completely count him out. Teddy Atlas, a respected former trainer and boxing analyst, is one of those who believes Crawford still has a chance. Atlas recognizes that the jump from 154 pounds to 168 pounds could be difficult for Crawford, but he remains confident that Crawford's skill and adaptability could allow him to overcome the size difference. Crawford has the potential to pull off an upset, Atlas said, showing that there are still people who believe in the American fighter's ability to defy the odds. The stage is now set for what promises to be one of the most exciting boxing matchups of the year. With key figures like Hearn and Atlas offering their insights, the fight between Canelo and Crawford is one that has boxing fans eagerly anticipating the outcome. Can Crawford defy expectations and conquer the challenge of the weight disparity? Or will Canelo's size and power prove too much for him? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. This fight could be a defining moment in the sport of boxing.
It seems like it's not official, but it may be a done deal. Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. Early thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, look, the first thought is, can he handle the weight jump? Can he handle the weight jump? He being Crawford. Against Madrimov, people are going to say, oh, he had some hiccups. Who don't have hiccups? When you eat something that's a little difficult to eat, and Madrimov was a little difficult to eat, he's not easy to digest. He's a good fighter. When you eat something that's a little tough to digest, you get hiccups, right? So, come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is, but who's he beating? He unified the, what was his first division? Lightweight, then he unified the junior, then he unified the junior welter, then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter. He unified like 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight. He's beaten anybody that they put in front of him. He beat an undefeated fighter in Errol Spence that everybody thought was just like, one of the best fighters out there, which he was. He was one of the top fighters pound for pound out there, and he didn't just beat him, he dismantled him. He might have ruined him. We were talking about getting ruined in fights earlier. He might have ruined him. We don't know. He hasn't been back yet, Spence.
Terence Crawford won't be the first boxer to take on the challenge of moving up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez. Jermall Charlo made the leap from junior middleweight to super middleweight, only to be knocked down once by Canelo during a dominant unanimous decision win. However, Charlo and Crawford are not the same. Crawford, a versatile 4-division champion and undisputed junior welterweight, is in a better position to handle such a major weight jump. His speed and skill set should give him an edge over Canelo, making him more prepared for this kind of challenge. Climbing 14 pounds to face any elite super middleweight is already a tough task, but taking on a pound-for-pound legend like Canelo, who has ruled the super middleweight division since 2020, takes things to another level. The size and power advantages that Canelo holds over Crawford, and the remarkable achievements both fighters have accomplished, are what make this potential fight so exciting. Israil Madrimov, who fought Crawford last year, shared his thoughts on the fight between Crawford and Canelo. Madrimov, who lost to Crawford by unanimous decision last August in their WBA light middleweight title fight, doesn't think Crawford will be able to move up 2 weight classes and overcome Canelo's power. It's a very different weight class. Canelo will win, I think by decision, Madrimov said, emphasizing that the size difference will play a significant role in the outcome. While Madrimov has his eyes set on his own fight against WBC interim light middleweight champion Virgil Ortiz Jr. next month, he still gave his take on the matchup. Crawford, on the other hand, made it clear he wanted to face Canelo right after his victory over Madrimov. Now, it seems that the fight is finally on track, with negotiations progressing and a potential showdown set for September in Las Vegas. Keen Davis, a fellow American, spoke highly of Crawford's chances, believing that Crawford's pure boxing skills, footwork, and great jab give him an advantage over Canelo. Bud is just the more pure boxer, Davis said, acknowledging Canelo's legendary status but still backing Crawford's skill set. Crawford has already claimed undisputed titles in both the super lightweight and welterweight divisions.
Sharp jab by Canelo, unable to take his head off center line.
But now he faces a huge challenge in the form of Canelo, who has dominated the 168-pound division since his 2021 win over Caleb Plant. Canelo has ruled the super middleweight scene, holding all 4 major titles until last year when he lost the IBF title after choosing to fight Edgar Berlanga instead of his mandatory challenger, William School. Some well-known figures in boxing, like Rolando Romero, have shown support for Canelo, dismissing Crawford's chances. Romero, who won the WBA belt at 140 pounds, stated, "Let me ask you this. Who's a better fighter, Floyd Mayweather or Terence Crawford? You're going to compare a 168-pound solid grown man, Canelo, to fight Terence Crawford? People who think Crawford has even a chance against Canelo are stupid. It's not even close." Mike Coppinger of ESPN also reports that Crawford is expected to move up to 168 pounds to face Canelo without a rehydration clause. Given the significant size difference between the two, many expect that the contract will include restrictions on how much weight Canelo can gain between the weigh-in and fight night. Crawford, being the smaller fighter, has recently moved up to super welterweight after competing in lighter divisions like lightweight, super lightweight, and welterweight. Canelo, however, has fought as high as 175 pounds, which is light heavyweight. Crawford's trainer, Brian McIntyre, has made it clear that they aren't concerned about these contractual limitations, stating that they don't want any such clauses. Crawford's confidence isn't without merit. He's been a dominant force in boxing, alongside Alexander Usyk and Naoya Inoue, as one of only 3 boxers to claim undisputed titles in 2 weight classes during the 4-belt era. Crawford, undefeated in 41 professional fights, is known for his ability to adjust and outsmart his opponents in the ring. "I'm the type of guy who likes to feel my opponents out and adjust to what they're doing," Crawford said in an interview with Boxing Scene. "I think that's my greatest attribute, to be able to figure out every opponent I've faced so far." He's confident that his superior ring IQ and ability to adapt will give him the edge in the upcoming battle. With all the anticipation building, the fight between Crawford and Canelo is shaping up to be one of the most thrilling.